everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of That Was A Hoot.
That was it.
That Was A Hoot
I'm
show.
Shaad.
I'm Justin, and we are part of this show, as well as others.
Yeah, thanks for. I mean, ideally,
If you're here, you know about others.
you know the other ones because you're on
Yeah.
the feed, right?
You sure are.
We are continuing. I guess we're starting. We're not
This
continuing.
is the start.
We are starting our
Yeah.
watch along of Rocko's Modern Life. So we'll be covering the first half of season 1 today.
Yes,
which
episodes 1 through 6.
Yeah,
I guess technically 12 segments.
12 segments.
So 12 little tidbits, 11-minute episodes.
Just as we go through, I'm assuming, and I couldn't tell you right now, but you said 100 segments. So does that
Yeah.
mean that there are 2 full-length
I think so,
episodes
yes.
throughout here that
Yeah.
aren't split into 2 segments each?
Mhm.
Okay.
Like they
figured as
were
much.
special ones that had just commercial breaks 4 times throughout them,
Right. Instead of
and faded out, and then they broke it up that way.
Gotcha.
So it's a full 22-minute episode instead of two partial
I
segments.
figured as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a reminder, we are following the Paramount Plus order of things
Yes.
in there. So if you're watching with us,
It's not pure chronological order
Exactly.
of full-on release.
and we understand that that's
so we're not being as purist as we possibly
Yes.
can, even though we kind of secretly wanted to.
Yes.
But this is going to be the easiest for everybody to
Yeah, we
consume.
want everybody to be
Yeah.
on the same page as us.
So just for those, kind of playing along at home, Paramount Plus, $5 base subscription, and I think it's $10 for the
that what it
7 or
is?
10. I think without the, I think
Ads.
it's 10
Okay.
without no any ads, without no ads.
Without them ads.
Yes.
So if you are playing at home, your first episode should be Carnival Knowledge / Sand in Your Navel.
Mhm. Open up your hymnals to page to page 102.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go by segment on here. So we're gonna start with episode 1, segment 1,
Mhm.
Carnival Knowledge.
Carnival
in
knowledge.
there. Do you want to lead us in this hymnal?
How will lead us in this hymnal of carnival knowledge? First, we open up on Heifer and Rocko walking to the carnival,
Yeah.
and the carnival just so happens to be at our O-Town local toxic waste dump.
Yes.
The perfect place for a carnival.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of nice games there.
Themed rides, games, foods, everything. Well, I guess technically not foods, because you see Heifers ate like several corn dogs throughout the
Cotton candy.
the consistency of the episodes, and those all look like they're not like they're
not
aren't-
sewer themed.
They're not tainted by
Who knows
the remainder of
because
it.
he eats some nasty stuff. So
Yeah. What's the snack that he eats consistently throughout the series?
Oh, I wrote it down. It's
I forgot the name of it.
It comes up later. I will.
Yeah.
Pasture Puffs.
Pasture
Puffies.
Pasture Puffs. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's a regular go-to snack, and he does eat it in this episode at some point in time. So I guess he's able to buy it at a carnival somehow.
Okay.
Don't know where that came from, but apparently there's a stand that just is like basically a convenience store in the middle of a
Right.
carnival.
Yeah.
That's just kind of selling this thing.
Some of the games. Did you write down some of these games?
I didn't write down the names of the games.
So,
I have some I have a heart next to instead of writing loves, I put heart next to Heifer crushing the first frog in the frog flip game. That was like one of my favorite parts of the episode, so I put a little heart next to it.
They have games like Chemical Toss.
When he crosses it, he goes, "Ooh!" Afterwards, like he realized he'd made a big mess, and oopsie.
They have games like Chemical Toss,
Mhm.
House of Broken Mirrors.
Yes, that's not a game though.
That's true. I guess
Yeah.
that's an attraction.
Yeah.
Oil spill.
Yeah.
That's a game.
That's just a ride.
Muggo.
That's just it's skating, but you're just sliding around on toxic oil.
The ride Muggo Whirl.
Yeah.
Where you get hit with hot liquid.
Yes.
As the mug of, I guess, tea or coffee, I don't know, fills up. The elevator to hell.
Mm-hmm. Another fun fact: elevator to hell goes down to hell. What is presumed to be a demon or Satan comes up, but it's not Peaches.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which is, we know as now continuity's sake, eventually,
Yes.
he's our resident Satan, basically.
Yes, exactly.
But what comes up, I'm assuming, I'm just going to say, this is just a demon.
Yeah.
Because he's not coming up out of trying to get him.
He's a prisoner to the carny. Like, he can't even leave the elevator.
Yeah.
He's just like,
He's
no,
not,
you stay here.
you get back in there. So that's another question that I had that popped up on there. Are all the carnies the same? guy,
Oh, I don't know. I figured they were all just the same kind of
the
people.
same species.
Like
They look exactly the same. They're all like slugmen,
Yes.
kind of things.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if it was meant to be like, this is basically just one guy running this entire fucking carnival.
That's awesome.
And he's just changing, not outfits, but just changing roles. Like now he's the guy from the baseball game.
He's just running this thing.
Now, now he's at the frog game. Now he's doing the fucking Ferris wheel. I didn't know if like it's all the same guy.
Yeah, I think it is. I thought it was. I interpreted it as different ones, but like
I think when I was younger, I did. But then at the same time, I wrote the question. I was like, I wonder if it's meant to be the same guy, and he's just running around to every place,
doing all the different things. Yeah, because it seems as though generally when you don't have, if it's not a main cast member, all of the same species has the same job. Like when you like the medics are beavers,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Which I think maybe do they show up in this one?
Yes, this is the first showing of the beaver EMTs as I put them.
We also go to the sawmill, which is in raw sewage, and you get actual blades that cut the logs, so that's safe.
I put nosebleed ride because that was my favorite.
Yes,
I love the nosebleed.
The nosebleed ride.
Something here that I also noted as a little fun fact: we get to the carnival at the very beginning of the episode, $30 to get in, and he's just like $30. What a ripoff!
Yeah,
And Heifer does the can you loan me $30?
Yeah,
later on when they're in the Ferris wheel ride. No, they're in the Ferris wheel ride. They turn them upside down. Bunch of money falling out of Heifer's pockets. He's fucking holding out on Rocko being a shitty friend and just trying to get money out of him.
That's true. Money is a weird conversation throughout all of Rocko's Modern Life. Yeah. In that it's almost like in an uncomfortable way, like how they deal with money, but it's they're constantly complaining about money, but are ordering stuff from TV. But I guess it's kind of like real life. Like you have like issues where people are low on cash, but then all of a sudden they've got this new SUV and
dude, it's called Justin's life to a T. They're just like, hey, we don't have that much money, but we're going to this concert. I don't have the money for it, but we're doing it.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
We also go to the carousel, and my favorite part is when Hef goes, I love circles when they're
on the circle. Yeah.
And it was just random. But yeah, the frog flip.
He laughs at the chicken. I'm gonna ride the chicken. Yeah.
They did the frog flip. They smashed
the asshole frog.
Then they get the rude frog, and Rocko drops the giant ball on
ball and green wrecking ball,
flips him up into space to never return again.
What does he say? Whenever he flies up into space, you see it because you see
like
him
no fair or something like that.
No, I think he says like moron. Moron, and he flies up into space, and then you see them on the nosebleed ride. They go up into space, and he's in orbit at that point in time. You hear him saying moron whenever they're on the very tippy top about to go down.
Yes,
and then he's still saying it when he falls back down into the pond, and then he does the lucky throw or lucky throw or whatever.
Yeah. And then Rocko wins his prize.
Yeah, that's why I also the Chinese finger trap.
Yeah.
I think for me as a kid, like at this point in time, I would be probably like 8 or 9.
Yeah,
maybe 8 whenever this first came out, and I watched it. This probably was one of the first instances of me really experiencing a Chinese finger trap, and it made me want one as a kid.
Yeah.
That was that's something that I like that vividly remember from that. I was like, I remember having this and getting a finger trap as a kid and thinking like, oh, this reminds me of Rocko.
Right. Okay. So my question for this episode.
Yes.
There's a bottle toss game that they play.
Okay.
And at one point the slug tells Rocko, easy there, Nolan.
Yeah.
Who is Nolan?
Nolan Ryan. He's a famous pitcher.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't get that reference.
Yeah.
So I was
like, easy there, Nolan.
Yeah, I didn't get
like
it.
Nolan Ryan.
I was
at that point in time, probably just he was probably close to retiring, but he was like the pitcher of all pitchers, kind of a thing for baseball. Like you think of a hitter and a good, like I think was a third baseman. He probably played every position, but when you think of Babe Ruth, you think like this guy is a fucking hitter. Like he is like he's hitting shit out of the park kind of a thing.
See.
You think of pitchers. Nolan Ryan's like a fucking great pitcher.
Gotcha. Yeah. You got any more notes on?
No.
Okay, so
And
moving
then
on.
after saying it in your navel, I have no notes.
Okay,
So we're going to
perfect.
be talking about everything
I
just
don't
off
have
the
to-
cuff.
I don't have to ask you after that. All right, so episode 1, segment 2, sand in your navel.
Yes, sir. How much do you sweat?
Buckets.
That's
like
it, though.
actual buckets.
Like, yeah, I mean, like,
I love that humor.
it's a clear, representation of it. But I'm just like, I sweat a lot. I mean, especially now that I work for a tire plant,
Right.
in a plant where it's like 100+ degrees every day.
Mm-hmm.
Even whenever it's winter, it's like 80, 90 degrees inside that fucking thing.
Yeah.
I sweat a lot there, but I never sweat buckets ever.
I love the on the nose humor though. It's like,
Yeah.
he
He's
is
sweating
sweating buckets.
As literal as we can get.
Yes.
And it's fucking gross that Spunky drinks. It's so gross.
Spunky drinks
which
out of
also
everything.
leads me to my question for this episode.
Yeah.
Rocko doesn't have an AC unit at all.
I don't know. It depends on whether or not he
Because
can afford one this week.
Yeah, I've been thinking like he clearly has electricity. We're
Yes.
seeing him like watching TV. He has a refrigerator that works. He has a fan that works. That's not battery powered. You can see it's plugged into the wall, but it was just like he doesn't have an AC unit.
Does he get a window unit at some point? Maybe
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't remember if is there an episode where they address like no air conditioning and he's like going and buying an air conditioning unit.
I feel like
that's the next movie. If not,
I feel like there's AC at some point.
Yeah.
We'll find out, I guess. As we
the
continue
next
on.
movie is called Rocko's Modern Life, Central Air.
Aerorama.
Aeromatic.
So they get the idea to go to the beach
Mhm.
because it's real hot and they're sweating buckets.
Yeah.
This is my favorite though, is when they go for parking and they're just like,
Yeah, the parking lot, because you go past all the signs and shit like that.
$1,000 for 5 yards away from the beach.
Yeah.
$100 for 6 blocks away.
Uh-huh.
And then there's cheapo parking.
Yeah.
There's layaway parking.
Where you just cram on top of each other.
Yeah. And then Big Ed's parking for
Yeah.
$1.
And Big Ed's is his next door neighbor, Ed Big Head, has a parking lot for the beach. It says Big Ed's parking, what beach? Is the name of the sign. Underneath it is in quotes, says what beach? And it's literally just next door to us. And
So
he parks there and pays. Does he?
No, he parks at his
he
house.
just parks at his house.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, he
That
could
would've
have
been awesome,
paid
though.
$1 just to park in there next to like at Ed's house.
Yes.
And we go to the beach. You have a bunch of just crazy regular hijinks like playing the volleyball.
Right.
Can I sit in, guys?
Yeah.
You know,
And they're all on top of each other. Like the beach is full, obviously.
But this is our first appearance of Lady Hippo.
Lady Hippo.
We got Lady Hippo. He's got his fucking gross. It looks like a stick of butter that he's putting on himself.
Tano butter.
Yeah, and then she asks, "You put some lotion on my back."
Yes.
You know, however her voice is.
Yeah.
And then somehow manages to wedge himself betwixt her boobs.
Yes.
And then, of course, ensues into "How dare
Yes.
you?" and then gets thrown into the ocean or something.
And then I don't remember why, but at some point, there's like a walrus or something that goes, "Boy, you got a buoy in your pants."
Yeah. After that.
When
he goes in, she chucks him into the ocean. He walks out of the ocean, he's spitting out water, and he's got it in his pants, and he just pulls in, he has a pipe on. It's almost like whenever you play Mortal Kombat and you get the guy that does the whoopee, and he's just kind of like a little side note that's just there in the corner whenever you do like a good uppercut or something,
Yeah.
and just pops in. It's just like that. He's just like, "Boy, you have a buoy in your pants," and then he just creeps. That was like 100% the most Ren and Stimpy thing. That's just a random off the wall stupid shit.
Yes.
I also noted, and I don't remember what this pertains to, but I said this show has a lot more vomit than I remember.
I don't remember the vomit.
Yeah, somebody throws up at some point in this episode. I forget what it's about or what it's correlated with, but yeah, and that's cemented because I was like, as we went along, there's more throw up scenes, and I was like, this is a lot more vomit in this show than I thought about.
Well, we get the beavers again because
yes,
Stimpy,
BMT beaver EMTs now lifeguards.
Now lifeguards.
I put in my notes
because Spunky gets swallowed by a fish.
Yes,
and they have to save Spunky.
Pop. They don't save Spunky though.
No, they don't.
They save the fish.
A pelican steals Spunky.
Yes,
and takes him to the fish merchant.
It's the pelican that he revels about in the episode earlier. He's just like, "Oh, look, it's the something one-eyed whatever pelican, one of the most majestic birds." And then you see him land, and he's just got a fucking peg leg and the eye patch.
And so the pelican steals Spunky, and Rocko has to go to the nude beach.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but when I go to a nude beach, I definitely put my shorts on my head.
100%.
Because
why does he do that?
I don't know.
He puts it on his head, I guess, as like I'm gonna have some relief from the sun somehow for some reason, even though I've never wore a hat.
He doesn't know what to do with his shorts. I guess
instead of just abandoning them, he throws them on his head, and then he gets a sensor block put on him.
Yes.
From a random FCC guy that just pops out of nowhere.
Yes.
And then you would go to the nude beach, and then tell me if this struck you as odd. There are actual like humans on that beach. They're laid over like females.
Yes.
Not with animal faces, but they're just like regular people there too.
Yeah, they do interact with humans.
There's so much just like weird interactions, like regular humans mixed with human/animal, like humanoid people.
Yes.
Versus like he's not really humanoid. He's almost like just a straight up wallaby.
Anthropomorphic,
I guess, but he's not really. But you know what I mean?
He's
like
wallaby shaped. Like he's not like
100%. Yes, that's what I meant. Like Filbert is 100% turtle.
Yeah.
I would say Heifer is
he's a little more anthropomorphic.
He's more
because he's upright,
slightly more humanoid. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the wolves look like wolves and stuff. But then you have these people that like they look like straight up human bodies, but then they have like a pig nose and antlers or something for some reason.
Yeah.
But they have like everything else of that. Just like he's wearing a business suit and he's standing upright and has human hands, human feet, everything else.
They got a pig,
but has a pig's face. It's just like we mishmash sweet tooth.
They do all of it. Yeah, they do it all.
Is that what do you think that this is a crossover? Could that be a crossover event on Netflix?
I don't think so.
Like we have like a animated Gus that is in this world.
The tone doesn't feel right.
That's what Sweet Tooth, the world is like. This hybrids eventually the world and Rocko in the far future.
So we get to where we find out that the Pelican has dropped off Spunky as
the fish merchant,
dogfish,
dogfish,
and it's a frozen block of ice that Rocko has to buy.
Very expensive. It was a big wad of cash he pulled out of the other pocket, and
he's
just
got so much money, and he never has any.
And then it became so convenient because he became the new ice that he put in front of the fan to cool him off.
Exactly. As Rocko's getting bugs are grilling out on his stomach.
What does that meat?
I don't know. I don't know.
I was just like, as they were flipping it, I was just kind of like, that's fucking, I wonder what that meat is. That's kind of gross because they're mosquitoes.
Yes.
And I was just like, is that his meat somewhere? From like, is it like they're cooking chunks of him that they got off? Like maybe it's like hunks of skin or something.
Could be. Absolutely. My question for this episode is, what if birds actually worked for fish merchants? Like if a pelican, if they could like,
what would they pay them?
Like a homing pigeon, like will deliver notes. What if they paid pelicans to go get fish that they could sell?
Like in that world, it makes sense because they get money and they can spend money.
The pelicans can,
right? But in our world,
pelicans can't really spend money,
right? So what would they get in return?
That's all I had. I thought
if they're delivering them fish and they're like, "I'll pay you in fish."
Yeah, it doesn't really.
It doesn't work real. You know what I mean? Like unless there's something else like
mob style. It's like for protection. We offer you protection.
What if it's like the pelicans give them fish, and then since we know like pelicans love to eat like McDonald's that's been left over outside of Best Buy in Carbondale. Maybe they pay them in like leftover McDonald's food.
This is true. They can
you know what I mean? Like they're just like, here's some fries.
You got points
because they can't go get fries.
So, episode 2, segment 1, Sucker for the Psychomatic. So this was originally going to be the pilot episode.
Yes.
But was decided. Did you read why it was decided? Heifer, they thought would be a little too weird for the audience, the test audience.
So, everything for this fucking show is weird for any audience.
Like that was the line. It was like, Heifer might come on a little strong. Let's do a Heifer light episode for the pilot.
Okay.
That was the thought
good
process.
Note. Good note, Joe.
Yeah, I guess. So Rocko's vacuum's on the fritz.
Yes.
And he said it's never working when he wants to clean the house. But I find it always odd that like
every single time you see his house in any other episode, it's always a fucking mess. Constantly.
Like, conveniently, when he wants to clean the house, his shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's just it. And
do you think it's just that like he doesn't know how to work it right?
I don't know. Because
you get the Psychomatic and it's like you can drive it, you can push buttons and it does it on its own.
He's just kind of
you know what I'm talking about? Like it's all automated. It was the what's the fucking thing called? The Roomba.
Console?
It was like the Roomba
of
its time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Psychomatic was the Roomba of the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable saying that.
I think everybody would agree with you.
So that's what I meant. Like he doesn't clearly really have to do anything to
No.
control that. So does he just need things that are automated because he doesn't know how to do anything?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Conglamo makes everything. It's all like automated shit. You don't have to do anything with. So
Exactly.
that's like he's just looking for. He's like the prime real estate for everything from like Idiocracy.
He just like everything he touches just turns bad though.
Yeah.
Generally. This is what I thought was the first time that you saw pasture puppies, but you said that they did show up in that. But Heifer's sitting on the couch eating the pasture puppies in the way that you will know that he continues to eat pasture puppies,
100%.
which is that a giant pile of green stuff just ends up on the floor in front of him at all times. Which that's a big waste of pasture puppies.
So what is pasture puppies meant to be? Is it just grass?
I think it might be just
like
grass chips.
Grass chips or popcorn grass.
Like they just probably like they just air popped
like instead of popcorn, it's air popped grass.
Yeah, or
I mean he's a cat, he's a steer, so I mean he's more. We know like they're meant to graze and stuff like that. So I guess that's the grass. That's that.
You get like seaweed chips now. Like you can get those. So like I imagine it's kind of like that, but grass. Maybe.
But then the next time we record episodes or something like that, we should get seaweed chips so that way we can like really we sample them live and stuff like that. But we're really like in this mind frame of Heifer. We're just like we're grazing on that while we're doing it, or see if we can find like, hey, they got Kentucky bluegrass they turned into chips.
Yeah,
so we could try that.
Gross. We see that they're advertising things on TV such as the deluxe tapeworm farm, that you can get, which just seems so exciting. The Suckleback dies and speaks Rosebud, but they think that it's floor crud is what they think that it is, but he does a little throwback to Citizen Kane, and they throws up everything. There's another vomit there, but it's vacuum vomit, so.
It's different. I mean, like there's more vomit than I would remember. I can't remember what the one was that
on the beach.
Yeah, there's something on
was it the fish? Did the fish vomit when it was?
No, there's something else that has vomit that goes on there with it. That's like, I can't remember what it is. I think even Spunky does it too whenever he's doing the water. And he spits out like the small little bits of water when he's in with the good air, out with the bad, or whatever. And I think like he actually and like throws up shit too.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but everything like there's a lot of vomit in it, and even with the vacuum vomit, it's pretty gross.
Yes,
even though it's just all the stuff it sucked up.
Right. Psychomatic commercial comes on, and the announcer has stitches in its head for no reason. I noticed that. I was like, it's just a random touch. This is just like all around.
I think it's the whole premise of that is just like infomercial. Like it's such a brainwashed, brain dead thing.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, the gang kind of gets hypnotized and orders the vacuum with some of the fastest delivery that I don't even think Amazon can compete with.
Yeah, pretty close though if you live in like LA.
Right. So while they're getting everything set up, this thing's giant. It's a big old thing, and Spunky's eating the packing peanuts while it's going on.
I love how he eats the packing peanuts too. Whenever his mouth is on the ground, and just like
almost like a vacuum.
Yeah.
But they all get on and ride the vacuum and wear goggles on that, and there's like a foot of junk like on that floor.
Yeah. Real gross.
Oh my gosh. And
like it's literally like emulating mowing a yard, but inside with a vacuum cleaner, but it's all dirt and I don't know what. It's got like almost like a chunky meaty quality to it though for dirt.
Yeah. But we also find that it does vacuum, or it does mow the grass. Like the Psychomatic.
Yeah, it does everything. Literally everything.
It will suck the layers of paint off of your car. It will
there's a lot of layers.
Grass. Yeah, polka dot stripes. It sucked up Santa in an airplane from the fireplace. It will let's see. Oh, I liked that there was a little risque. I don't think you can maybe do it now. Is there was a peeping Tom in the grass checking on the fairies when they were doing that. But then
I like the noises he makes whenever you see him. Yeah. No, you could not do that these days.
And then the Psychomatic kind of gets a mind of its own and doesn't have an off button, and it just goes like, I'm gonna do.
It's what is it? The paperclip?
Yes,
paperclip stuck in its throat on its dangly bits.
Oh, what is it? It's potato chip.
Potato chip, yeah, it was
a vintage 73. Yeah,
because he smells it and he licks it or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's the vintage 73. Heifer says, but we get a showing from the Star Trek Enterprise shows up. Even that's how much sucking's going on. But Heifer saves the day and pulls the chip out, and the vacuum wakes up again. And then we kind of get to a sequence which we'll get a lot in Rocko, which is that they end up just being back in the house, but the house is now the vacuum, and they
you see the pan out to where the entire world basically
yeah
is the Psychomatic. Like everybody's inside of a Psychomatic.
And there's just so many times that the world just ends in that kind of
because you hear
ruin.
like a guy doing the stereotypical like scream,
Yes.
almost like Wilhelm scream. Not really a Wilhelm scream, but that kind of a thing
Close,
you hear multiple times.
Yeah, and they just go on living their lives like in the society of now living in vacuum cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I don't have a question for this one.
Oh man, what's wrong with you?
Dang it, I'll make it up to you. All right, so now we've got episode 2, segment 2. I know I'm having a hard time with the word segment.
Well, let's do 2.2.
2.2.
2.2.
Thank you. That's how I have it written in my notes.
Yeah. So episode 2.2.
And this
is canned, right? Yes.
Yeah. So this is our intro to Filbert.
Mm-hmm.
But as we'd mentioned in the previous episode, no real introduction. It's just, as you said, his line is...
you turn the page and you wash your hands. And then you turn the page and then you wash your hands. I don't have a good Filbert voice really for anything. That's just as much as I can get.
And I don't know if you paid attention to the other titles on that magazine rack, but there's a title called Poop, a title called Me, and a title called No, like K-N-O-W.
No, I did not read that. There's a Poop magazine? Nice.
Like the one that Rocco's reading is one of 4 on there, and you don't see the title of what Rocco's reading, but the other 3 are Poop, Me, and No.
Or they did like it's kind of almost like a playoff of just Mad magazine. You know what I'm talking about? Like everything was comedy, so it's just like everything's gonna have one word. Like he's reading Mad. This is Poop. This is No.
I tried to pay attention to those little background things because I figured they'd be ridiculous.
I'm glad you did.
We get an introduction to I don't know his name, but the nose picking manager.
Yeah, I can't remember his name
he gets
either.
One later on
because it comes back multiple times.
Yeah. But he calls him into his office and fires Rocko.
Yeah.
So then that kind of sets us on to our new journey of Rocko gets fired, which is the main plot, I guess, or Rocko gets looking for a
certain new job. Yeah.
I love that my note says Sunky instead of Spunky here.
Autocorrect.
Spunky gets salmon from Mr. Big Head salmon bushes and is rolling in it.
It's so weird. What is the point of a salmon bush? Frogs don't eat fish.
No.
So, I mean, that's not anything continuity wise. No. Why do they have a bush that just grows salmon?
It had to have been just an idea notebook. Like somebody has bushes that are probably somebody said salmon bushes and they thought it was funny and then wrote it down and later on made up a thing. And then while Rocko comes home after being fired, obviously, and Spunky's waiting for his food, and this is a classic Spunky move where he fills up the bowl with drool and then drinks the drool because he thinks it's a new drink, and he's just dumb. But Rocko
that's why he's like one of the best characters, if not the best character.
Yes. But they're out of money. He doesn't have a job, and I think they should actually put these in. Is that there's a water, a phone, an oxygen, and an electric meter in his house, and you just put quarters into it if you're ready for it. Oxygen, I don't know how that one's gonna work, but the other ones, if you don't want to pay your water bill for a little bit, you're gonna be out of town on vacation.
What are the effects of an oxygen tank on a person that does not need oxygen to breathe?
I don't think it has much of an effect because you're just going to kind of use it and like it just kind of gets wasted.
I didn't know if it was like
maybe more lightheaded. I think.
Well, I didn't know if it was lightheaded or almost like maybe like a clarity type thing. You know what I'm talking about? Almost like you're like because it's like the purest form of that, just like going straight into your nostrils. So you're just like, oh my god, am I like? What is the effect of that?
I think it makes you a little loopy.
Just loopy.
Yeah, a little bit. Probably not bad, but like. Same thing as like when you take you're not supposed to take in a big like air full of of oxygen like that, like pure oxygen, because I think it'll make you a little lightheaded, because you're not used to processing that much, and someone who can't get enough oxygen at all would just struggles to get it, so that's just kind of balancing. But since you're already getting it,
there's another thing: is laughing gas readily available?
Laughing gas? I don't think so.
Like, is that something that you can like? You can't just buy it off the market, kind of a thing.
No, I think that's kind of.
I was gonna say we should do an episode where we're on laughing gas the entire time. Just we're just anything that we say is just us laughing the whole time.
Yes.
This episode of the IFNZ podcast takes place in a dentist's office.
Yes. Okay, where are we at? So then I messed up. There's like 2 or 3 of these segments where I don't have a question. I was boasting about my questions, and now I don't have one.
We can make up ones that we don't have it for now.
Good point. So we start looking for a job. Rocko just first job does some tattoo work on the roof of somebody's mouth, which is so weird. A plumber's assistant, which is a perfect job.
Yep.
And then decides he's going to be a phone operator, which ends up being a sex worker.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby,
Rocko.
I love that so much.
And then he gets his big shot at Conglommo.
Yeah.
Where Mr. Bighead is in charge. And Rocko is put into product testing because Mr. Bighead hates Rocko.
This is the gum.
Yes,
right?
The gum is involved in there. Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that
the
I
Nose
remember.
Master 3000.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I'm remembering because these are the ones where I'm starting. Like I don't have a lot of notes for, so I'm trying to make sure that I have it all continuity wise in my head. I'm not getting mixed up.
The enhanced chewing gum.
Yes.
Which I was thinking about. Like it's a way better concept than the Wonka chewing gum. It's just like you gain like
you gain abilities in that sense. But I mean, like I could say like the Wonka chewing gum actually has claws, like it's steeped in some kind of reality. We could have a chewing gum, you know what I mean? Like we could have a chewing gum that tastes like roast beef potatoes and like, you know, roast beef, a potato with butter and sour cream and something else with it. And that be what we taste.
We need to work on that more. Like I feel like that
like dinner gum.
Yeah, because here's the thought about weight loss is like, I don't think you should just eat that gum, but what if you had, like, I have some portion control issues sometimes. So what if I wanted a steak and potato? And so I got a 2-ounce steak and a very small baked potato and ate that. And then I chewed gum for the rest of it. And I had those flavors still going for longer because I like to eat for a long period of time, especially when you're like watching a movie or watching TV, like you just want to graze.
I would need that for like a McAllister situation. I don't want the giant spud. I can be just a spud with just a tiny little boy.
And just give me some gum to chew.
And then give me some gum to chew afterwards, so I can continue my exploration of the amazingness that is just a good baked potato.
I don't need the 3-course meals as much as I just need like one thing. Like just a baked potato would be good. Like give me a just a spud on there. And then they also have Dial-A-Do. Which is where we get the baby flies. What do they get?
Hooray.
Hooray! Yes.
That comes back in multiple episodes, but this one is probably, since it's like the staple of it, because they end the episode with it, and the flies does the just leave this one here. Talking to some producer, breaking the fourth wall for however many times. We always break the fourth wall on the show, anyways.
I forget about that.
Yeah.
But yes, the baby flies this is kind of their episode where they shine. The rest of it's just callback.
It's not like they're even like maggots or whatever or anything like that. They're it's weird.
Yeah, they are.
They're meant to be like
they're just full grown flies.
Yeah, full grown flies inside of like little
just
cocoons.
Got caught in a web kind of a thing. And so then they take him to the animal testing yard. And they have the mad giraffe repellent. And so I do have a question for this episode. It does. It works great. I do have a question for this episode. So how does a world like this, like Rocko's Modern Life, decide when animals are animals and when animals are more anthropomorphic, like a human?
I don't know. That's a good question. So, I mean, that's literally what we were talking about on the beach.
It's
like nude beach. They could not decide. Like it's literally a nude beach for everyone and anyone.
Yes.
Any kind of animal, any kind of anthropomorphic, and any kind of human.
Yeah. But you've got like a spunky.
Yeah.
Which I guess is your same argument with Disney is like you've got Pluto and then you've got Goofy. Yeah. And then you've got your pelicans, you've got your giraffes, but then even
the pelican is anthropomorphic. It talks to the guy whenever he gets the money. Does that pleasure doing business with you?
That's true. Good point. But then even your baby flies are more
technically anthropomorphic. I mean, they talk,
they
walk around and stuff like that. Yeah.
So it's just it's an odd choice, but I guess you do whatever you want when you can create.
But whenever they break the fourth wall doing that, it's almost like it is a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like you are
We're putting on a show for you.
We're putting on a show for you. You are to know that all these characters are actually just characters in a show.
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And so I don't know when they did decide. Like the mad giraffe is clearly just a giraffe that's just fucking crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe it was anthropomorphic at one point in time, and then something happened to it that made it a mad, just regular giraffe.
Points. You got
Maybe
points.
something happened to Spunky, and then he's just a regular old dog now. Maybe he was anthropomorphic at one point in time, and he's not that he's like mentally challenged or anything. Maybe like
he is.
You know, well, I meant like maybe maybe it was anthropomorphic and a friend of Rocko growing up, even though we see him whenever they're small together when he first gets him. I was just saying, like, maybe that he was, but then he has like a stroke or something, and then he's still just taking care of his friend. He's just his good old buddy, but he's just like a dog now.
What if
Gertrude was anthropomorphic? Yeah. Same question. I think she would be just Dobby.
Yeah, that's right.
She's your house elf.
So the I didn't even think about this, but we were talking about ideas for the future of Rocko. I would like to see a version of, like, they're doing the kind of prequel SpongeBob, right?
Yeah. And they're doing prequel the Madagascar guys too.
Oh, okay.
Now too.
Like, do me a prequel of Rocko, like show me when we actually meet Hepfur, and show me when he comes over from Australia.
Like that's like he's
from the beginning.
Yeah,
give me the immigration story. That would be cool. And that's still that's tied into everything.
Rocko's immigration life.
Yeah, and you could do it as a slightly different animation.
That could be really cool too, though. Like he's like a kid at that point in time.
Australian life.
Rocko's Australian life, but he's doing the immigration story, but he actually goes through like TSA and shit.
Yes. Be awesome.
Like they do like the whole adult thing where they just hear whoosh, like they're gonna test him out and like go through his butt or something, but you don't see that scene.
No.
Maybe he does it pans out, the door closes and you just hear him do the scream from the beginning of the episode, that woo or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then Mr. Big Head fires him, of course, after he gets attacked by the giraffes. It's not Rocko's fault, but he gets the brunt of it.
Yeah.
And then Rocko gets the job, his perfect job, which is at kind of a lot of comics. Absolutely, working with Filbert.
Yep.
And that is the end of the episode.
And then you get the
baby flies.
You get the gum. The gum goes into old bosses. Oh yeah, and he eats all of it at once
and gets the bees.
And gets the bees on his head, and he's just like and runs away. The bees are like stinging him while it's like the hive is his head now.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
So you get his just desserts kind of a thing.
Yes.
So final episode, episode 3.
Yes,
we've got episode 3.1, which is Rocko's Happy Sack.
the best title.
It starts getting like. The first couple episodes, they had like really long titles.
Yes.
So we had Carnival of Knowledge, Sand in Your Navel, Sucker for the Psychomatic. And then we started getting to the point to where everything is actually starting one word. And it seems like that remains the continuity for the remainder of things. You don't have full sentence title.
Get too wild with her. Yeah. So on Rocko's Happy Sack, Rocko and Spunky are hungry, and there is no food in the house, and they only have $3 until payday. So that is the premise. They must go grocery shopping. They're hungry for food. They get a great sale going on at Hippo Food.
Yeah.
99% off until noon that day.
Yeah.
It's 11:45.
You get the loudspeaker announcer that gives us our countdown the entire time. That's eventually, I guess, rather. Yeah. But we go into the grocery store. We get the shopping cart, the fiasco starting from the beginning. That's our. I think that's kind of our first like issue with the shopping trip.
Yes,
is getting the shopping cart. The shopping cart has like no wheels.
Yes.
It's like just screeching the entire time. That remains the entire episode, is just trying to pull it along.
There's 2 wheels missing out of the 4, I think. And they're both on one side.
Like, so it's just like sparks flying the entire time you see him going down an aisle.
Yeah.
But we get Lady Hippo there at the beginning.
He runs into her butt. Yeah.
2 or 3 times throughout the entire episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he gets bloated ticks and collies are like 2 of the first things he picks up from the and I was thinking, I guess you kind of got to go like bloated ticks makes sense. Maybe a wallaby eats bloated ticks.
I'm now that you mention it, because I was thinking about this. It was like, we've got the pastries, the pasture puppies that he eats, which makes sense continuity.
Yeah.
Do they eat bugs?
I think they do eat bugs. But collies is,
I don't know what that means.
It's a dog's colon, like a collie dog. Like, why is he eating dog colons? It was weird. But they all kinds of.
Wallabies are herbivores, mostly eating grass, actually.
Oh, okay.
They do also eat leaves and fruits and other plants like ferns and herbs, while grazing wallabies often congregate in small groups. So technically, no, not a
No.
lot of insects. It's mostly fruits and grass and plants.
There we go.
Yeah.
And
So the ticks make no sense, actually.
none of it
now.
makes any sense. Maybe it's for Spunky. Maybe it's interested. Maybe it's something he's interested in. But one of the major things is that obviously Spunky gets stuck into another fiasco. As they're kind of going through all this, Spunky follows an escaped liver, and goes into
it's so creepy that the liver becomes anthropomorphic,
the liver's
scrunching
like
around.
an earthworm,
Yeah,
or an inchworm, I guess.
Yeah,
just kind of
scrunching around.
inching along, and
I don't like it when things move that way, especially things like that leave like a weird slug trail behind them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like this one's obviously like blood and goop,
yes.
but it's just so to me. I don't know. I don't like it.
And they go back into the butcher area,
Yeah,
where the butcher is like got this like monologue of just like sadness.
Yeah, like I work me a hard days and I have nothing to make for it. Like it's just like the sad life of a butcher.
Until the liver comes in and he's like, "Ooh, something to do." And he's so
Yeah.
excited. But it's a pig, if I'm not mistaken, that is doing.
It's a pig man.
It's
Yeah.
a pig man,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that there's pig parts that are around him.
Oh yeah. Everything about this is like messed up. Like
Yes.
they're in like the episodes later on down whenever they go to the Choky Chicken, which gets renamed for edited for TV. I forget what they
does it
call
really?
it. Here when we watch it, I think it's all Choky Chicken.
Okay.
But they edited it because Choky Chicken, obviously
Okay.
a jerk off reference.
Yeah.
But I think they call it like the Chunky Chicken or something like that for TV on like
Oh.
Nicktoons or whatever. But
Okay.
but when they go there are chickens that are there eating other
Mhm.
chickens, saying like stuff like that. Like there's weird
There's
shit
some
like
cannibalism
that.
going on.
Definitely, like he enjoyed the idea of thinking like cannibalistic things would happen here.
Yes.
Like there's the episode that they do the female chicken, the hen is trying to interview for a position working at the local Choky Chicken,
Mhm.
and the chicken guy that's the manager there like hires her, but then she ends up being killed and cooked like as a pieces
Yeah.
of chicken that eventually like Heifer's friends with her, but then you see like her name tag is like on like the name of the meal or something like that, and he's eating it later on. Like it's all weird and messed up.
That's funny. And so while the butcher is repackaging the liver, he also packages Spunky
Yes.
into that, and so Spunky ends up on the shelf to get purchased, and so Rocco's filling up his cart, doing his shopping because time's running out. We got so much time. I'm amazed
And
at
then
how
he
much
says it
time
when
they
he
have.
actually is like Rocko while he's pushing the cart, and she says, "Attention shoppers, there's only 8 minutes left of shopping." He's just like, I know. Like he's talking to it, like the constant reminders, and
Yes.
he's just getting increasingly agitated as time goes on.
But he's not. He doesn't seem to be going super fast. One,
No.
and two, he's picking
Not
up
until
random stuff.
not until like the end though.
Yeah.
Then it like seems like all hell broke
Like
loose.
if I knew that I only had $3 and I had this
Who
big
is the
sell.
checkout clerk?
Filbert.
Is it Filbert again?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just like, why is he? How many jobs does he have?
But doesn't recognize Rocko at all.
Because he didn't work
Considering-
at Kind of Lot of Comics before. He worked at like the magazine place or whatever,
Yeah.
which is a completely different shop. Then he also works at Kind of Lot of Comics with him,
Yes.
and then now he also works at a grocery store.
Yes. And it's not like it's a different turtle. Like it's Filbert
No,
every
it's
time.
straight up Filbert.
It's
He
straight-
says the same shit too.
Yes. Yeah. So Rocco's in line trying to get go through, and he has another run in with Mrs. Hippo
Yeah.
or Lady Hippo.
Lady Hippo. Yeah.
And then he finds Spunky in another guy's cart and ends up trying to go on a tirade about how sea mammals should be shipped across the ocean.
It's like
Sunk
a weird, oddly racist thing.
Yes.
It's like it's
he-
almost like he's trying to say about black people.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
a very
like a radical
Racist-
Southerner,
yeah.
racist Republican type
Oh my gosh,
stereotypical
you called
person.
them all out.
Yeah, all of them. I mean, not all of them are, but I'm just saying like that's that
You
stereotype.
got a radical racist.
Yes.
That is he's essentially saying that this type of people should be put in a boat, shipped across the sea,
Mhm.
and then sunk halfway through.
Yeah.
So that they just drowned and died. But it's sea mammals instead of
Yeah.
insert race here.
My wife is a seaman.
Yes.
That's like, that probably is my favorite part of that episode. Sir, my wife is, and she's like hysterically sobbing behind him.
And what
he's like consoling her.
And two things I love about this: Rocko starts this so he can get Spunky out of the cart, and two, they're sea mammals, so they can presumably swim when they're sunken halfway across the ocean.
100%,
and just go back. But so then Rocco steals Spunky in the packaging, and Filbert rings them up, though they don't know each other in this episode. Filbert says he misses the scale, or Filbert says he misses the sail.
Yeah,
but Rocco changes his mind
because his voice is still the same, and it's the same Filbert, but it's like he's like sad, depressed worker guy when he's here, even more so.
Yes.
He's like, "Ooh, you missed it just out of the neck of time," or whatever.
Rocco
Just
explodes
super
on him.
slow. Yeah,
and
grabs him by the collar or by the apron or whatever. Yeah,
and then he gets out of there for a cart full of groceries for $1.50.
Yep,
he's still got $1.50 left out of his $3. And they go
like they leave Spunky in the packaging too. Whenever he's walking out, he's in the packaging, but legs are out.
Yes,
but he's still wrapped. and the whole time.
Yes. And then episode 3.
Was there a question for that one?
I don't have a question for that one.
I was just making sure.
I do have a question for this next one, though.
Okay.
Episode 3.2, Flu-in-you-inza. I had to re-say this in my head so many times when I was typing. I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, I messed up writing it, and I had to scratch it out and then rewrite again.
So Flu-in-you-inza. Rocket.
Rocket's Modern Life.
Rocko has tickets to go see wrestling. The WWF, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But wakes up with a hardcore nasal drip.
WWF.
He's got that nasal drip.
Mm-hmm.
So just like a good friend, Heifer takes him to the clinic.
Absolutely.
And Heifer brings snacks to watch. He's like, well, this is a great place to watch, is why he goes. So Rocko sees Dr. Bendova.
Mm-hmm.
And is this the only time we see Dr. Bendova?
I think so.
Okay, because for some reason the character is familiar. Like it comes up again, but maybe not.
Maybe I can't remember that. For whatever reason, the voice for Dr. Bendover in my head is very reminiscent, and it makes me think that I see him more. But I think the voice is almost the same as, and it also kind of leads to that, the doctor that you see multiple times in SpongeBob. Because the voice is the same, and it might just be Tom Kenny as the quote unquote additional voices in that kind of mix. Because I think he does yes. And it's like the very stereotypical, like dry doctor type of voice and stuff that's with it. And I think it's the same voice, but maybe, and that's what makes me think it's, you know what I mean? Because you see that doctor multiple times throughout SpongeBob.
That makes sense. My favorite part, though, is there's a sign in the doctor's office that says, "I am a prisoner in the crazy doc's broom closet."
Yeah.
And it's like the scene, like the eye test or whatever.
I am a prisoner.
Yes. But the nurse comes in to take the doctor away after he sees Rocko and says he should have been strapped to the bed. So we presume that this is
the doctor that you've been seeing at first was like an insane person, like patient type person.
Exactly.
And then you see the actual doctor kind of a thing.
Yes. And then Rocko takes the meds prescribed orally when he wasn't supposed to, and then he starts tripping balls.
Yes.
And
like that's the sequence whenever he puts the big pill in his neck and he's like, and it's like stuck, and it's like weirdly, like you see his Adam's apple like choking on it.
Yeah.
It's such weird, like between this show visually and Rocko and Ren and Stimpy, they do a really good job of like
finding things that aren't necessarily gross and making them gross.
And making them gross somehow.
Yeah.
And they do such like perfect things with it. Like I know distinctly with like Ren and Stimpy, there's the episode whenever Ren is dressed up as a mouse and Stimpy is like the cat catcher. And there's a point in time whenever he is supposed to hawk up a hairball and he doesn't have a hairball to hawk up. And they do a good job of making like he spits out Ren and so they say that's the hairball at first. And then he like sprouts his legs out and stuff, but it's like he's fluffy and in a ball and wet because it's just drenched in spit, and it just is such a gross look to it, and it's so gross the way they do it, and it's such like that visual style carries over between both of these so well.
Absolutely. So then he's his pieces of puke start talking to him, And that's so he throws up
Yeah.
afterwards. Puke
Is it like,
starts talking to him.
how many steps is it?
I mean, I don't know.
The process or whatever?
12
12 steps
program?
to getting better.
Oh, I don't remember.
I forget what it is.
I don't remember that part. But they make him toe GMT.
Yeah.
Spunky drinks it.
It's all of us. That's what I'm saying. All of those things, but they have like a
those are the
step.
healing
Yeah,
steps.
healing steps.
I don't remember that.
I can't remember. I think it's like 7 healing steps or something like
I see.
that get to getting better or something.
I gotcha. More puke
Toe
happens.
jam tea.
The puke foods try to.
That's another one. Like toe jam tea is fucking gross because you see like it looks like
Yes.
a oddly weird human foot
Yes.
that they're picking everything out of. Yeah.
They have a bunch of failed remedies, or so it seems. It looks like
Yeah.
it's just all like not working. But it ends up fixing him in the end.
Yeah.
He wakes up, feels better. And so then Spunky, he wakes up, he's like, I'm feeling better or whatever.
Yeah, he's wanting to I can go to the show,
Yeah.
and then Spunky is now contracted it.
I don't remember timeline wise.
Which is another thing too, because that means that Spunky had to have been anthropomorphic at some point in time, because not a dog and a humanoid creature would not be able to contract the same illnesses.
But can they not? They can get some of the same stuff, right? Like you can get
if my cat at home is sick, I can't get their flu.
But they can get COVID.
I think some dogs and stuff like that can. I don't know. It's not.
I don't know the rules.
I don't think it's contractual. I don't know if it's. I don't think felines can get it though. It's only certain things.
But Spunky's a dog.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking. Well, he doesn't have COVID that we know of. What if he did?
That'd be like that's what this was.
Oh my god.
So Spunky gets the flu. So the wrestling tickets were for that night.
Yeah.
And they took a nap in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of this happens in one day.
In a day. Yeah.
That's what I got confused, because I was like, well, he just woke up and he's feeling better, but he must have just taken a nap.
I think it was just he was able to get better.
That's a big day.
Yeah.
It's a big day. But just
wrestling days are very dangerous.
But like Rocko said, or like Rocko is a sweetheart. He gives Heifer the tickets, tells him to go on his own, get a guest. He's gonna stay home next to his animal.
Yeah.
And
who does Heifer take with him?
He takes the nurse.
Yeah.
He takes the nurse, and Dr. Bendova is the person that's fighting.
Yeah, fighting.
And so that's the whole end of it. So my question for this episode, is what foods would you hope would come to your rescue if you were sick? Like if you were in a sick state, what would come to rescue you?
A bowl of ramen.
Yeah,
would be one probably. I think I'm thinking like soup is like nice and relaxing.
Soup's nice for sure.
And I think like a ramen, like a noodle soup that is of that ilk would probably be really good.
Yeah. Like maybe a biscuits and gravy, I think, for me. Like a warm, like
I don't know about like it depends. Like maybe just a biscuits and gravy, but not like a sausage gravy.
You don't want that greasy.
I don't want anything greasy. Going down my gullet. It's just make the thing. Yeah. So yeah, I could see that too. Maybe like a PB&J sandwich.
Ooh, absolutely,
like a peanut butter sandwich.
Yes,
anthropomorphic peanut butter and jelly sandwich would be kind of cool to play off of.
That.
It'd be cool thinking like Rocko wise, if the peanut butter and jelly sandwich was literally like two-faced. Like one side, like the peanut butter side, like I'm so happy go lucky, and then it flips over, and then the jelly side that's over there is just fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like it has like a two-faced type thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
PB&J would be good.
You know what they always say? Podcast day is a very dangerous day.
This has been an IFNZ production.
Yeah.